BSc and did a BSc and an MSc in environmental management. I started working in waste management in my hometown, and then progressed up and came and started working for London about 5 years ago, mainly because I wanted to give something back to the environment, and waste management is a very environmental industry. People generally throw things away, and we're the guys that have to deal with it. They throw things away because there's no value. Anything in terms can be classed as rubbish. Everything at some point will be no longer needed or required, and that will turn into rubbish. And then somebody's got to try and find the value out of that, try and get that back into either recycle, reuse, or recovery. And that can be a real big challenge. It's a very dynamic, exciting industry to work in because of that challenge. When people have a problem, that's when they generally notice the people that are doing the job. Ultimately, people will see the stuff that we handle as rubbish, and it's something that they don't really like getting. They wouldn't like to do the job, and I have had people tell me they wouldn't like to work in the industry. But ultimately, everybody's putting stuff in their bins, and at a certain point, that stuff's they're more than happy for that to be in their house. And when they no longer need it, they put it in the bin, and all of a sudden it becomes not very nice material to handle. And if you have got to throw something away, you apply whether or not you can recover it, you can recycle it, reuse it, recycle, recovery, and if you apply that all the way down, you get that waste moved on. Hopefully there'll be less and less waste, and there'll be more and more products.
I was a garbage man for 2 summer semesters from the period of 1979-1980. When I was working with the chaps down there was a professor, there was a master's graduate, and there was several that had already got degrees, and they chose the life of everyday work rather than go into academia. But I worked with tough guys who resented education because they knew, right, we're supposed to be smarter than them. And they always felt like they were at the bottom of the chain, and they're not. They're far from it, because these guys that know how to deal with these problems, they have a really important kind of like knowledge. And it's that knowledge of what to do with our waste that is key, because without it, what would we do? What's really good today is the amount of recycling that's done. There was no recycling done whatsoever in the 1970s. It was all in the bin, all in landfill. Now they'll recycle paper, tin, plastic, you name it. There's a box for it.
As GD Environmental, we're an award-winning company, and since I've been here, we've actually won a number of awards. We've been named Business in the Community's Responsible Small Business of the Year 2014, and we also received a Green Apple Award for Best Practice in Wales. There is a huge demand for recycling goods. People, such as big construction projects, they want to use recycled stone and steel. Not only does it lower their costs for the project, but it also improves their carbon footprint. It is a very male-dominated industry, but as a woman I like to think we're that little bit more conscious, so we do our roles that little bit more to perfection. There's huge roles within the industry, such as legislation, such as marketing, training, and even coordinating. You know, there's a massive need for females as well as males within the sector.
As an industry, I think women have got a really, really good standpoint, but there were no women working when we were working. It was virtually men only then. Only in the office. There was a secretary in the office. there's lots of things that women can do, and I don't understand why it's only 12%, other than really it's a hard job. The most horrifying one was actually the bin, which was full of, it was like just literally full of skins of cats, literally. And it was like, you can imagine it, it's full of little furry cats that were once roaming around. Every single one of those cats was a pet. And, you know, that's the worst. For me, that was the worst. It was quite horrific because you still had to empty it. And, you know, when you're actually picking the bin up and you're chucking it in and you can actually see how many are in there, 15, 20 cats. That's the worst part, you know, you kind of like... And you go home and it still plays on your mind. I can still see it now.
I don't think people generally realise what goes on with the waste bins. Me personally, people put the bins out at the end of every day, but whenever the bin goes out, it gets emptied, and then they come home from work and put it back into the garden ready to fill it again. And as long as that happens, they don't really think about what goes on with that waste bin. However, if it doesn't get emptied, that's when you start getting people having issues, and that's when they start thinking about what actually people are doing to get those bins emptied. And I think when they have problems with the service, that's when their opinions have to drop. Generally, as long as it's running white, they don't think, great, the bin men have been, they just think it's what we do and it just carries on as normal.
Oh, my old man's a dustman, he wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold-blimey trousers and he lives in the council flat. He looks a proper nana in his great big bobtail boots. He's got such a job to pull them up that he calls them daisy roots.